Well, hello, everyone. Um, Good to be here. It's Mark Howard again. And, I just wanted to, again, be of help to all of you who are wanting to share your understanding of the principles comfortably as yourself and having some promise to impact your clients. In the last year, in my mentoring and coaching other three principles practitioners, and just listening to other three principles uh, practitioners, I've seen that people are getting a bit insecure again around their thinking that there's some right way to go about sharing this understanding of the principles. And they're getting confused and insecure about whether or not they're doing it this particular right way. And I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to share with you the point that there really isn't a right way. Again, it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you're trying your best to speak from that consciousness that is really a spiritual energy, the insights that you have seen, in order to help your clients, whether it's coaching clients or mental health clients or educational students, whatever the arena, trying your best to help them gain their own insights and realizations by sharing what you've known. And if you, again, get caught up in thinking about whether or not you're doing it the right way, it begins to move you away from just this consciousness of understanding and connection to the clients or the participants in whatever it is that you're providing. Now, that isn't to say there aren't some wonderful ideas that are very, very helpful about how to share the principles. But once again, those are ideas, those are concepts. And because they're ideas or concepts, they're going to be different from one three principles practitioner to another. Sydney Banks shared this with us, and it's really helped me. He talks about how we're all the same. We're using the principles to create a reality that we live in. So we're all this spiritual energy. That's where we are the same. We are all part of mind. But here in our physical form, we're different. We're not only different physically, but we're also different in terms of the realities that we're creating moment to moment through thought and consciousness. So all of the people here, my colleagues and friends who are sharing ways with you to share the principles, you could see that we've all got our own ways because we're talking about concepts, we're talking about ideas. But they're wonderful ideas, they're really helpful. For example, the programs that I do, the training programs and the mentoring programs that I offer three principles practitioners, I think it's a good idea that before you share the principles, to have a rapport and a deep listening with your clients. I talk a lot about the listening process, but that's just my idea. I share that because through 33 years, of trial and error in terms of sharing the principles, I've come to see how valuable that is. And I've also gleaned from the insights of George Pransky, Elsie Spittle, around the teaching process and created what seems like a good idea for my way in terms of helping people become more impactful in sharing the principles. But other three principles teachers have other ways. I mean, given that we all create our ideas about how to share the principles through thought and consciousness, and because they're concepts and ideas, they're going to be different, just the value of listening and the way listening is taught to three principles practitioner. There's my way, and there's other people's ways just on that one particular aspect. I remember years ago, Elsie Spittle talked about listening in a seminar that I was part of, and it was really different from the way that I talked about listening, but it helped me. I can glean something from it, and it helped me with, maybe a better way, not a better way, but more of an understanding of the listening process. But I didn't take it as if that's the right way. That's really important. There's a temptation because you may be listening to a three principles person who has a lot of history in the principles behind them, or was somebody who was taught by Sydney Banks directly. And when you hear something they're sharing, it might touch you and say, oh, that's really, really good, and the way I've been doing it is not quite like that. So I better make sure I teach like that. And that's not the way to take these beautiful ideas that are around in the three principles community about how to share the principles effectively. What you want to do is just listen to it and then glean what you can from it. In terms of my working with Kathy Casey, this wonderful colleague of mine that we've worked together so much about, she's got a beautiful way of going about it. She talks about backing into the principles, and she really can do that masterfully. But that's different from my way. It's not a right way. It's just to glean, what did she see from that? And does it make sense for me? And does it help me really do the purpose of sharing this understanding, which is really, like I've said in other videos on YouTube about sharing what you know, it's really about you being able to sit with what you have seen about the principles, share that to your clients or to the group or to the people attending your seminars, only to help that human being find their own insight and realization. Find a way that the knowledge that exists in all of our consciousness and in your client's consciousness get expressed through your client. And the best way it looks like to me that helps that along is that we can sit in our understanding, our insights, that consciousness where we've really seen something to be true about the principles Sydney Banks gave us. When you sit there, you're as impactful as any three principles person. So I don't want you to move away from that by getting to think about whether or not you're sharing it in a right way. I remember in the 1990s when I was part of our national certification program, we had come up with a form that people needed to learn in order to share the principles. And a few people really got troubled by that and talked to Sydney Banks about it. And I'll never forget a friend of mine who had talked with Sydney Banks, and Sydney just saying, look, just teach your way. Now, again, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Teach your way, but stay a student. Have the humility to know there's always more to see. You really want to live in that. There's always more to see. Live in that and live in the purity of what you're telling people, meaning that you're telling people only what you know now. You're talking from there. Now, again, you can really take what other people are sharing with you in their trainings, in their seminars, in their webinars, about how to share the principles, what to look at in terms of sharing the principles, and reflect on that. See what it can help you learn more about sharing your way. But ultimately, you're going to find your own way. And if you stay a student and not start thinking there's a right way, because remember, every way that's being presented to you, including mine, is an idea. It's a form. And you don't want to get locked in the form. You want to get locked into the beautiful spiritual energy that will create for you ideas and concepts that will allow you to share what you have seen as you. That's really important. So deeply valuable to see that. So I just wanted to make this short video to help you get more relaxed about sharing the principles, get thrilled about it. What's really the energy you're having to want to learn more. You know, when I first started in 1983 and had the insight that I've talked so much about, when I went back to work with my clients, I was thrilled because I finally had something that I knew, somehow I knew it was true, right? Because it touched me so deeply, and that insight just showed me that's what's going on. That's all that's going on. And I was thrilled. And I was just in this thrill to discover. What was I thrilled to discover? Discover more of the understanding of these principles and to discover how to share them. And I want that for you. But the minute you or I start thinking there's a right way to share these principles, we're lost. We're lost. We're trying to fit somebody's idea into our way. Now, that's not how it works. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that you couldn't glean from somebody else's ways. I'm not saying anything against that. You take what you can get from somebody else's ways of sharing it, right? And you let that percolate, and you find how it'll come through you. But I want you to sit in the thrill of discovery. And even when you're coaching, when you're doing a mental health practice, when you're part of an educational team, whatever way, when you're doing business, work in business, whatever it is, once again, the power comes from you just discovering with those clients that it's a process of discovery. You're sitting in your understanding what seems true to you, and in the moment you share it, and then you and your clients work to discover what that means for them. Can it wake up in them their own insights and realizations from this vast spiritual knowledge that exists in all of us? So if you stay a student and in the thrill of discovery, you're going to be fine. You can use these beautiful ideas that are out there from many of my Three Principles colleagues and myself too, that really help to guide you to a way to share the principles that might be more impactful. But don't let that take you away from your own way and the comfort zone of just being with a client your way and letting the purpose of sharing what you know try to bring alive the knowledge in your clients. Anyhow, I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to share this with you. I do not want any of you to live in insecurity about sharing the principles. There's no need for that. Because if you've seen something and you want to share it, do it. Because you see, you'll learn. And the beauty of having so many other ideas out there about how to share the principles is that you don't have to go back and invent the machine. Is that how they say it? You know, you can just bounce off what you're learning from what other people are saying and see what's right. Take pieces there that will help you. So if you have other questions or want to share anything with me, I would love to hear from you if you feel up to that. You can email me at Dr. Mark, M-A-R-K, Howard, at Comcast, COMCAST.net. And I'd love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful to you. There are other videos on YouTube that I've made trying to help you all share with more comfort and certainty what you know of the principles. So until we talk again, um, thanks for listening to me. And I'd love to hear any feedback you'd like to share. Have a good day. Bye.